Hi, I'm Kenny. I had an ischemic stroke just under 2 years ago. The stroke affects the left side of my body, for the most part, just motor deficits. And today I'm going to talk about basically the exercise that I do at this point, almost 2 years um, after the event. So I've been doing these for probably at least, last like year or so. Um, just a sign. I will say that I have been doing normally because I go to the gym almost every day, and I would argue that most people go to the gym do 10 reps, 3 sets of things like that, or roughly in that range. Depends on the kind of person you are, I guess. I went to the gym a lot, even like prior to the stroke, and from a neuroplastic recovery perspective, it's all about repetitions. So for me, I do 20 reps and I do 4 sets because, from my perspective, biased, whatever, um, I want to do as many reps as possible to maximize neuroplastic gain, right, over time. It is a chronic recovery thing. So I just added 10 reps to everything. So instead of 10 reps, I'll do 20 reps. That's for me the easiest way to just add way more reps during my workouts. And then I do, instead of 3 sets, I do 4 sets of things. So I haven't uploaded in a while just because I've been very busy with life. But I would say that's a very good sign because that means that I've recovered a good amount and I'm able to kind of do more things and focus on doing things that keep you busy. From my perspective, all very good signs. I know I look like I'm doing really well, and I am. So I can't take anything away from that. That being said, it has been a lot of work to get to even this stage. Um, so yeah, again, 20 reps, 4 sets of pretty much everything. So the stroke affected just the left side of my body. My right side is perfectly strong, like literally just as strong as the day of. It's also, for context, I was pretty muscular slash physically, very, sorry, not pretty, very muscular slash physically active before. To be blunt, I haven't really lost much muscle mass on the left side of my body, really at all, which is a combination of me being just young and genetics, and thankfully a lot of muscle memory on that aspect as well. So I'm very grateful for that. Starting with lower body, which, right, just the left leg. I start with leg press usually. Again, for all these, 20 reps in 4 sets, just to maximize the total amount of reps I get during the workout. So 20 reps in 4 sets of 205 pounds. I do this with both legs. This is leg press. I actually alternate this 2 leg presses with 1 leg presses. So 2 leg presses, I do 205 pounds. Again, 20 reps, and then I alternate with 85 to 100 pounds on 1 leg press, and then I'll do another one, right? Another one that's 2 leg press, and then last set, which is 1 leg press. Then that's just leg press for the day. And then I'll do a set, or again, 20 reps, 4 sets of leg AB or abduction, depending on how you want to call it. I've never liked calling it abduction, so I'm just gonna call it abduction. There's also adduction, ADD-duction, which I don't do. There's a machine for it, but it just doesn't really target anything that I need, I think, at this point. I could also be wrong, and it's probably not the worst thing to do. It's not going to make me weaker, right? But I also do leg abduction or abduction. This really hits your glutes. Though I'm not going into details of like muscle groups or nerves that are being innervated during this. Again, 20 reps, 4 sets. I usually do this at 100 pounds. Oh, another thing to note about all these exercises, all these weights have actually gone up slowly over time. I used to do these at lower weights. So the plan is also, the more I do them, ideally get stronger. Ideally kind of just push on that threshold of the weights that I can do at 20 reps. So that's really important. Um, and try to do 20 reps no matter what every single time. If at any point I feel the weight's too heavy, I'll actually drop down the weight to get the 20 reps, because repetition is much more important than the amount of weight that you're lifting or doing. So that's leg abduction. And then after this is hamstrings. So I do hamstring curls on the hamstring curl machine. Again, I do So usually like I 20 reps, sometimes 15 reps, because I honestly just don't like hamstring curls very much. My hamstrings are pretty good, not great, but solid. Not as easily innervated as I'd like them to be. Right, it's not as automatic, right, as I'd like them to be compared to what they were at baseline. But I also just don't like the machine either. So I probably sometimes I do try to do 20 reps, but sometimes I only do 15. Again, 4 sets of these. This is hamstring curls at 75 pounds each. And for the record, I'm going to put all of these in the description organized. So in case you're not keeping track of what I'm saying, which is also fine, I'll have them all organized in the description. For upper body, I usually start with tricep extensions. At not even sure what those things are called. Not really a Smith machine. So I stand up, I do tricep extensions, or tricep pull downs, whatever you want to call them. Again, 20 reps for everything, 4 sets. The machine I use just, I think I just moved up to 32.5 pounds, so that's what I do. 20 reps, 4 sets of 32.5 pounds. I wish I could do I wish I could bench, but I just physically my body will not make that work even with both hands. Also, the imbalance between my right and my left side for the my pecs and triceps is too great for me to do it safely by myself, because I'm going to the gym by myself, right? I'm not there to be assisted or anything like that. I'm just pull up. Occasionally I go with someone who wants to go to the gym, but otherwise it's just me. So tricep pull downs, 32.5 pounds. And I do chest flies, sitting chest flies. You could also do these laying down with dumbbells. At this point, there's a machine there that I can just kind of just sit and just do flies, sit and do flies. So again, 20 reps, 4 sets. I do these at 100 pounds. And that sounds impressive, but it's not nearly as impressive as it might sound. Because I'm sitting down and I'm like, this isn't like a 100-pound dumbbell. But I'm able to move 100 pounds at 20 reps. This is probably the hardest thing I do for my arms. You can actually, I'll feel it the day after. Most of these exercises I don't really get sore from the day after, but this one I tend to do. And I have what I would call like a very weak version of tendonitis sometimes from this, but it's okay. No pain, no gain. So next I do some kind of back machine. Sometimes I vary it. It's between lat pull downs or seated rows. 20 reps again for 4 sets. Weight here varies because I don't really keep track of the weight. And the machine I use at this gym is very it's not as pretty or nice in the sense that some of the numbers on the weights are like rubbed down. So I just kind of plant it where I think roughly, if I had to put a number on, it'd probably be about maybe 70 pounds for what is this? Lat pull downs versus rows. Again, 2 different exercises. So also hard to put a number down to compare the two. Though I tend to do more on the seated rows. Lat pull downs, not as much. When I was healthy, I'd probably just do pull-ups as opposed to lat pull downs. I never really did lat pull downs at all. Now I'm doing it again. Notice for the arms, I tend to do things with both arms more often than not. Though there are some exceptions to that, which I'll get to later. So wrist twists. So that's the next one is wrist twists. So it's very simple, literally just twisting your wrist with a weight while holding the weight. You don't have to hold it horizontally to do it, though you can. Often I'm just sitting down with my arm going downwards and then just twisting the wrist. So I actually just have a timer out for this, 90 seconds, and I do it for 4 sets. Again, it's just all about getting the motion and the wrist back. It's part of, you don't think about it when you're healthy, just part of being able to quickly maneuver your hands and your fingers. So I do that 90 seconds, 4 sets. I usually use 15-pound dumbbells. I could probably do like 20 or 25 pounds, but I don't really need the weight because, I'm not trying to get some strong wrists. I'm just trying to get my wrist strong enough to be able to hold and maneuver things better. Probably the best thing I would use my wrist for is literally just to be able to stand and hold a plate while I eat, right? At this point, I feel like my wrists aren't stable enough to do something like that. So I wouldn't hold a plate while simply because of the fear of stabilize my wrists and my fingers not being stable enough to hold them in place for the entire time. All right, so with the one-handed machine, I'll also vary these. There's no like reason for me to do these exercises in order. It all depends on who's on the machine and what I feel like doing first versus second versus last. Though I do tend to do them in a certain order, just because that's the way my mind's programmed to do them. I talked about like the seated rows before. There's a machine at my gym. It's kind of like seated rows, but it's more for scapular. Like I use it for scapular engagement. How do I put this? It's like seated rows, but I'm sure there's a better like terminology for this exact exercise. It's almost like cross body rows. So I will. It is still rows. Basically, I grip the handle like this, and then I move it like this, and I just kind of do this. So I do those for again 20 reps, 4 sets. When I do it, I really try to squeeze my back together to get that scapular engagement. And even though I've been working out this entire time, I'll be honest with you, none of these feel like a workout. All this to me just feels like physical therapy. I haven't worked out for real in, from my perspective, at least a year and a half, 2 years. Well, 2 years because I had a stroke just under 2 years ago. So I haven't worked out for real. All this, everything I use is from my perspective, like very lightweight, just because it's not about the weight when you're doing therapy, right? Or when you're working out to get functional recovery back. The weight doesn't matter. It's really the reps that you put in. And just once again, the reps matter more than, or rather, I'm doing 20 reps instead of 10 reps just because it's very easy to add, right? Just another 10. So that my total reps for a workout goes from, I don't even know, is it like 20? So I go 10, 10, 10, 10. So I go from 40 reps for a workout to 80 because I'm now doing 20 instead of 10. Then I'm doing 4 sets instead of 3. So that's actually very incorrect. My math is so bad there. Not 40 because it'd be 40 times 3, right? Yeah, so it'd be 120 reps for the workout. So instead of 120, I'm now doing 160. Yeah, I don't like math. But again, the workout regimen will be in the description. Doesn't mean you do it, but I think it's probably not a terrible idea to see what someone who's recovered pretty well, just what they're doing. I would post videos of me working out, but I think it's really whack and cheesy to take like videos of yourself in the gym. Plus, I go to the gym by myself. I don't feel like setting up cameras and all the like the stupid influencer bullshit. I'm never gonna do that. So I don't have like videos of myself working out except occasionally here and there.